James Wan is a Malaysian-born Australian director, producer, screenwriter and comic book writer. He has primarily worked in the horror genre as the co-creator of the Saw and Insidious franchises and the creator of the Conjuring universe. Wan is also the founder of film and television production called Atomic Monster Productions. Wan was born on 27 February 1977 in Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia to Malaysian Chinese parents. He was raised in Perth, Western Australia from a young age. It was his dream to make films from the age of 11. He went on to study at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, completing his Bachelor of Arts degree. Before becoming popular in the film industry, he made his first feature film called Stygian with Shannon Young, which won Best Guerrilla Film at the Melbourne Underground Film Festival in 2000. Prior to 2003, colleagues James Wan and Lev Whannell had begun writing a script based for a horror film, citing inspiration from their dreams and fears. Upon completing the script, Wan and Whannell had wanted to select an excerpt from their script, later to be known as Saw, and film it to pitch their film to studios. Surprisingly, Saw became a record-breaking theatrical horror franchise, earning Wan and Whannell much more than they had originally predicted. Wan also directed a trailer for the survival horror video game called Dead Space. It is not every day you see a film director explore into video game trailers, but Wan says he is a massive fan of space horror stories. He also stated that he was blown away by the cinematic visuals and philosophy behind Dead Space story. On 22 June 2019, Wan became engaged to Romanian-German actress Ingrid Bisu, making the announcement on his Instagram account. They married in November 2019.
I believe the name James Wan is not something new to most of us, especially the horror genre fans. And with his famous movies like The Conjuring universe, which include The Conjuring, the first one, and also The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and the upcoming Conjuring is the part 4. Also, Annabelle and other horror movies like Insidious, Dead Silence, Saw, and just released last year was Malignant. There are some famous blockbusters by James Wan as well. For instance, Aquaman and Furious 7. But numerous of James Wan's movies focus on horror genre. There are some reasons on why James Wan is very passionate in producing, in writing, and also in directing horror genre. So, what exactly horror genre means? According to Oxford Learners' Dictionaries, horror story or horror genre focuses on a story that is strange and frightening that is designed to entertain people. So why James Wan chose horror as one of his famous genre till people call him as the most important horror director? According to James Wan, what really inspired him to produce, to write, or to direct a horror movie is to tell a story that he wants to tell. he would like to put himself in the shoes of the audiences and imagine what it is really like to feel the fear, the frightening moments, and also the terror situations, just like the horror movies. And also, the characters that he chose in his movies are real, like Ed and Lorraine in The Conjuring.
James Wan started off his career as a director with the boost when he directed Saw, that was released in 2004. Saw managed to break all the mainstream horror films with its hardcore violent soundtrack, strange editing, and thrilling plot twists. Saw is a film revolved around a mystery killer named Jigsaw Killer. Jigsaw Killer puts his victims to test by playing deadly games. The unusual and interesting about Saw is the writer, who is also James and his friend Leigh Whannell, created the villain different from other villains by making Jigsaw Killer a killer with purposes, which is to teach the victims a lesson and test their will to stay alive. Saw received positive reviews from the audience as it became the most profitable horror films after Scream, grossing more than $100 million worldwide. Since then, the film has garnered a cult following and has been recognized as one of the most groundbreaking horror films of all time. Rotten Tomatoes has rated Saw with 51% from 188 reviews. Some of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes review Saw as following.
From the disease eating away at me inside.
Sounds like our friend Jigsaw.
I'm sick of people who don't appreciate their blessings.
Looks like our guy likes to book himself front row seats to his own cyclic dooms.
Hello, Mark.
Paul, Amanda, Zep. Hello, Dr. Gordon. I want to play a game.
When talking about James Wan, we cannot leave the horror series that he is recently famous for, which is The Conjuring Universe. The Conjuring Universe is a horror film franchise that includes 8 films altogether, and James Wan took part in each one of them as either a director, writer, or producer. The films are based on the true stories of Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal investigators and authors who have been linked to a number of well-known but contentious haunting cases. The primary series recounts their efforts to save people who have been possessed by demonic spirits, while the spin-off films explore the origins of some of the entities they have encountered. The 8 films are: first, The Conjuring, which was released in 2013; second, Annabelle in 2014, followed by The Conjuring 2 in 2016, the third film of the franchise; fourth, Annabelle Creation in 2017; fifth, The Nun in 2018. The sixth film is The Curse of La Llorona in 2019. In the same year, James Wan produced the 7th film of the franchise, Annabelle Comes Home. And the 8th and latest film released in 2021 is Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It. The Conjuring received 86% from Rotten Tomatoes. Some of the reviews are:
You alright? Bathsheba! By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
Another masterpiece by James Wan that should be mentioned is Aquaman. James Wan directed Aquaman, a superhero film adapted from DC Comics character of the same name. Aquaman is about Arthur, who then transforms into Aquaman. Aquaman's mission is to stop his half-brother, King Orm, who wants to unite all 7 undersea kingdoms with bad intention, which is to destroy the surface world. Aquaman received only fair reviews because of the predictable plot and prolonged runtime. Rotten Tomatoes has rated Aquaman with 65% with the following critics. And that's it, the example of James Wan's works and their reviews. It is no doubt that James Wan really deserved the title of Master Horror because he never fails to prove true his astonishing horror films.